There's not much light.
There's a lot of.
Howdy.
Oh well.
I mean,
It's fine.
that's a little better.
Hello,
hey, y'all.
Everyone. What do you
Pam's a
got?
barrel of laughs tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, I can't always be in a good mood.
It's not real bright outside. We're a little dark. Portable desert living.
Oh, hey, Dawn.
Now there is a fun-looking couple. If you only
Just
knew,
the-
Don.
It's been just the whole day started off
Yeah,
wrong.
it's been cloudy today, so it's hard to be cheery when it's cloudy.
I want things to move faster, and they're not moving at all. That's all. I don't know. I'm angry.
That was a trip to Phoenix.
Phoenix?
We didn't go to Phoenix.
We didn't go yet. Today's my baby's birthday.
Will Timmy be on here?
Timmy,
He's probably not on here, but
I think he was getting
when
on
he
there. Happy
he
birthday,
might come
Tim.
on here, but we'll say happy birthday to him. But we'll have to say it a bunch of times because he probably won't be here for 30 minutes or something.
Tim is 27 today.
Happy birthday, Tim. He's not here, I'm sure.
Oh, that reminds me. I've got to get his present. He's probably here. He usually watches, but he doesn't.
But
he's watching on his TV, so he doesn't comment.
He might not be here yet, though. It's early.
Oh, hey,
It's fairly
Sherry.
early. Yo.
We just heard Jake was singing.
Brian, does your Berkey take a long time to filter water?
Yeah.
Well, my quick answer would be no. Mine is so slow. Plus, it changes over time, of course. What they say is it never produces bad water. It only slows down at producing good water as the filters get old. And we've had ours for over 3 years now.
Your
And
dad and
it has slowed
Hi.
down. I'm Lan and Dad.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tom in New Jersey. 63. I wish it was 63 here. Anyway, mine is only a few months old. Yeah, I know your Berkey's pretty new. I wouldn't call it slow. I'm trying to remember,
We should time it and see how long.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It takes it about an hour probably to filter.
I was thinking, hi, Mom.
Hey, Shirley.
I was thinking now it might take longer than an hour, but I think it used to filter a gallon of water in probably about an hour. It definitely, 165 and Sunny Sherry says, it definitely has slowed down for sure. So what I notice now.
Oh my gosh, it's Colin.
Hey, Colin.
He's in New York.
What I notice now is that when you fill it, on top, I guess because it's heavy on top, the first bit of it filters pretty quickly. Like you'll get water in the bottom pretty fast. And then I think as the water goes down in the top, as there's less to filter, it seems to filter a little slower. So to get an actual full gallon of water through it now does take a little bit of time. I usually try and at the end of the day, I try and make sure it's full right before we go to bed so that basically when you get up, you've got a full thing of water. So I don't pay attention. I don't like time it or anything. But when it was new, I seem to recall thinking it filtered pretty quickly, which I guess I would say maybe an hour, but I really can't even remember, to tell you the truth. But if it's much slower than that, there might be something wrong. I'm not sure.
Time it tomorrow.
I guess I could time a batch, but I don't know. If it seems really slow,
maybe look on YouTube.
Something might be wrong. Yeah, I might Google that or something.
When in doubt, I always look on YouTube.
But yeah, it definitely makes sense to fill it before bed. It's just the easiest way to make sure you've always got water for the day. But I mean, I've used it all during a day and filled it during the day and then gotten more water out of it. Like I said, it might not filter all the way through, but it might give enough. But
in the summertime, we go through it a lot. Like we fill it twice a day during the summer. Yeah. And ours is pretty old now, and it has slowed down noticeably for sure. But I do clean the filters. I think I set it up for once a quarter, maybe.
either once every 3 or every 4 months, and they recommend you take like a Scotch Brite pad and just rub them underwater. You're basically just scraping off. It's like a charcoal filter, I think. Anyway,
yeah,
it shouldn't be real slow. That seems weird.
We were gonna go get mulch today, and the mulch is all gone.
Yeah, they were out of mulch today. We was gonna try.
We were gonna
try today, and it was out. So, but yes, we've gotten a bunch of mulch, and it does look nice.
So that's how the day started out. I'm angry because
that was a bummer. Mulch. We were supposed to get mulch today.
Who's taking all our mulch? I want him to Well, I mean, we've gotten so many loads of free mulch. I would like to go and just give him $20, have him put in the screen stuff, give us some good stuff, and I'll use it on plants and stuff.
When we're gardening, maybe.
I want to do it,
but
I'll go and do it myself.
But what the heck are you going to do with a truckload of screened mulch?
Whatever I want.
First of all, we're not going to put it like on a driveway or whatever. That's just idiotic. Dude.
Sherry says I should do it.
It just it doesn't make any sense.
I'll do what I want with it.
It just doesn't make any sense.
I'll use it in plants, and I'll put it in my what?
Dawn says I think a pond will be super nice. We're planning a big reveal. It'll be a while.
It's a surprise.
But, we're gonna do a pond someday. Dawn's done a really cool pond at his place, and we're planning on doing one here, and he's gonna help us out a little bit.
I think I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, it's a surprise. Don't tell anybody. He's not the boss of you. Was that the last one?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, that was funny.
He was naked halfway, so he didn't want me to film him, and then he has this thing he doesn't want me to film him when he doesn't have his clothes on or something.
You're fine, Doug.
Oh no, you're not ruining anything. People will forget. Forget.
Well, I guess we can talk. We're a couple minutes in. It's been a fairly the party. That's Ashley. Wow,
Ashley,
hey, Ashley.
Ashley.
I saw that name and I almost thought that was somebody going to play a joke on us or something. Get all rude and mean and stuff. When I saw the name. Whoa!
Oh my God! Oh, let me get the cowbell.
Sean McCurd. Oh, you got it?
Got it.
Hey, Sean. Wow.
What did you put in it? Why did you do this?
That's how I quiet the cowbell and you.
Let's see here.
Wow. We got some. Pam's got the cowbell, Sean. That's for Sean.
There we go. That's it.
Brainstorm Makers is here. You're missing it.
Brainstorm Makers.
Brainstorm Makers. Well, it's quite a party here. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Well, welcome everybody. We got a couple of new people this time.
Henry and Irene from Brainstorm Makers.
Hello,
everyone.
More cowbells. It hasn't been, it's been kind of a slow week. As you all know, let's see, just before last week's talk, I put out a request for a few Truss quotes. And I think, actually, I got one back the same day, so I probably talked about it last week. We got our first one back the same day, but that was from Southwest Truss, which is here local. Well, they're all local, but
Taylor and Melissa.
That's down in, hey, Taylor and Melissa. That's down in Sierra Vista. And the number was great, but the time frame is bad, right? So I got another one back. I think it was just yesterday. And I've called both those companies. One of them I called, and the guy I got on the phone was actually the guy working on it. So I basically just said, hey, let me know if you got any issues with it. And I think maybe, it was the next day. I think I called Monday, and the next day, no, I called him Friday, and he said he was working on it. And then I got the quote back yesterday, Tuesday. Yeah, got the quote back yesterday. Numbers higher, a good bit. And
like $3,000.
Yeah, a lot higher. So, and the problem is I don't know it. I don't have any way to figure out kind of why. I mean, I asked these two people to build the same thing. So why such a huge difference? Now I'll cut to the chase here in a minute about what we're going to do next. But
I've been very sad about it.
But I just wanted to give you an update. Yeah. So yeah, the number is much higher. And not only that, now the one piece of good news in that quote was it said that they would arrive 4 weeks after we agreed and paid. So that's nice. So they've got the turnaround time. At least they say they do.
I don't trust.
So yeah, it's tough. But the other problem with it was there was like no detail in the quote whatsoever. There was no PDF file with any pictures or anything. I mean, it literally was like 2 or 3 lines of text. I think it said parallel cord trusses, which is basically just says they're going to be the top and bottom are going to be parallel, and it's going to run sloped. And it said 2-foot overhang, and there was one other line, I can't remember what it was, but that was it, and a price.
What?
That was
why?
it.
I don't really understand why. What is wrong with that? You just want them to tell you what you already asked them.
Here's what's wrong with that.
You want to confirm that they understand.
This is not a typical house, right? Where it's going to be sitting on a 2x4 on this side and sitting on a 2x4 on this side. This is not the standard thing, right?
Right.
Really, there are probably very few. I don't know. Maybe a lot of trusses are standard, but anyway. So we've got a 15-inch flat box on the low side on this one side that the truss needs to sit on. So I believe it needs to have kind of a seat cut into it or built into it, not cut, but built into it. So that it has a 15-inch flat spot basically on the low side. And on the high side, I'm doing something kind of unique where we're going to build, I think, a box on the high side, kind of a framed box that will actually mimic the slope of the truss so that it'll actually sit right on that thing. So they won't have to do anything special with the truss at the high end. But at the low end, it does have to be special in a sense. It has to have this seat, right? This 15-inch seat. Anyway, and I asked in the messages that I sent out for my requests, I asked a few questions, and I kind of listed a couple of assumptions that I had. Just general things about how I thought they attached, how tall they might be, or how, a couple of things. And I would say, like, I assume it's going to work like this, or something about the seat cut. I said, I assume you'll put like a 15-inch flat spot on the bottom so that they'll sit a certain way. Stuff like that. And
hey, Jill.
If when you respond, hey, Jill.
Jill and Warren, and maybe Warren's there.
So when they respond, I think Warren might be out on the road. When they respond, if they don't give me anything back, I don't get a picture. I don't get you were right about this, wrong about that, or answer this question or whatever. If they don't say anything, then how do I know what they've built me or what they're planning on building me? I have no idea.
Oh, hey, Jim.
Hey, Jim and Jessica. So that's my problem.
Wait. When Southwest Truss got back to you, they did everything right. They gave you a what?
There's a couple things with Southwest Truss. So another thing, by the way, that this second company that gave us a quote did not give, they didn't even give me a quantity. They didn't even say how many. So I mean, and that's another thing that has to be kind of talked about. The two, you have a certain number of trusses, right? They're going to be 2 feet apart, so there'll be a certain number of. In our case, that'll be 18. But the first truss and the last truss that sit over the walls, right? That sit on the walls. Yeah. They're special. And the reason they're special is because you want to be able to know they're on top of the walls. Mm-hmm. The reason they're special is because there's going to be a device called a lookout that's going to kind of basically a 2x4 that's going to go from the next to last truss, cut through the last truss. It'll be kind of set into it, and it'll kind of hang out over the edge so that you can put a board on the edge, and that's how you get your overhang on the side of the house, right? This is all fairly standard stuff, really. But they didn't talk about, again, when they gave me my quote, they didn't say we're going to have 16 kind of normal trusses and 2 special trusses. Some people would call them dropped end gables, and I actually put that in my email. I said, is that the right way to handle this? Stuff like that. And when Southwest Truss came back, they confirmed all of that. And Southwest Truss, a couple things were different about Southwest Truss. Number one, I met with them in person beforehand, and I talked to the guy, not the guy who designs them, but the guy in the shop who actually builds them. The designer and the builder are 2 different people. When did you go there? I did that a while ago.
The day I didn't go with you, right?
You were not there.
Okay.
So I talked to him in person. He understood the project, and he gave me a lot of information so that I could understand kind of how to talk about some of these things. Yeah. Number 2, when I sent the quote, so that went to somebody else, right? When I sent the request, that goes to a designer. And so jump in. If you see any questions, I don't see any questions, but I'm just going to keep going. So I sent that to the designer. That designer emailed me back the same day. Just like you. He emailed me back the same day, and he responded to some of the things I said in the email. Basically, I started the email off by saying, I'm not a professional. Here's what I'm doing. I wrote up, kind of all the way I understood it. I gave some pictures, one of which is the thumbnail for this live. And they're from SketchUp to give them kind of an idea of what the thing looked like, but they were just they were just screenshots because these people don't use the tool that I'm using, SketchUp. So they wouldn't be able to maneuver it and measure things and stuff like that. So along with the pictures of a couple different angles of things was a write-up that tried to describe everything, and it gave all the dimensions and differences in heights and all this stuff, right? So, but, I said, I'm not an expert, and along the way, I would ask little questions or I would make assumptions. So the guy from Southwest Truss, who I hadn't talked to in person, but he was the designer. He responded back to me and said, the first thing he said was, "You gave us good information. We get," and I probably went through this the last time.
He
said your assumptions were all correct, you know, and you kind of wrote everything. But he asked one or two questions. He said, "Do I understand this correctly? And do I understand this correctly?" And I answered him back, and then he said something else, and then I answered him back, and then he sent me a quote. So I got this feeling. Quick. I got this feeling, right? That gives me some confidence that he understands what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Right?
Also,
now with this other company, I've got none of that.
So
none.
With them, they're really, really busy. Now, I don't know how.
I think it's that they're small.
The other two are,
I don't know that they're any less busy. I think they're just small.
But the fact that they're really busy and they gave you a quote like that same day. The other, we haven't even
instills confidence in me.
It's been a week and we still haven't even gotten
that's the third one. So we haven't gotten to the third one yet.
That makes me.
So the second one says a quote, but again, I have zero confidence because they didn't have any back and forth with me. They didn't ask any questions. They didn't confirm any of my questions. They didn't answer any of my questions. They didn't confirm any of my assumptions. They didn't give me any information in the quote that would confirm any of my assumptions or give me any sort of confidence.
So when you called them up,
it was basically just, well, I didn't talk to the guy. The phone number I had, or the email of the person it came from.
Need to work, but we'll watch. Oh.
No problem. Thanks for stopping in. So I'm going to get to what we're going to do about this. But for right now, I don't have much confidence in that quote I was given. I don't know if it's even for the right thing.
Have you told me what we're going to do?
Yes, I have. But
I don't remember.
So that's that. That's quote number 2. I'm not real crazy about it, and I don't have a whole lot of confidence that the person on the other end that designed it even sees things the same way I do, because he gave me no reason to believe that he does.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Okay,
you were talking to him on the phone, and
I didn't speak to him. Well, I take that back. I've called them multiple times. I have spoken to him, but after I got the quote, I called them and I asked to speak to the person who the email came from.
Oh.
The person who the email, and this is another thing I don't understand, the person who the email came from knew nothing about the quote. I don't know why that is. He's not the guy who made the quote. He's not the guy who designed the truss. I have no idea why that is. He knew nothing. So what I said to him was, this is what we're really going to do, and things are sort of in limbo until then. We're going to be in Tucson on Friday. And I'm going to go into these 2 companies that are in Tucson on Friday, and I'm going to meet the people who design these things, and I'm going to talk to them in person, and I'm going to bring my computer, and I'm going to show them my SketchUp drawing, and I'm going to make sure that they understand what I mean but for the low side and the high side and the overhang and all the questions I have, right? And I'm going to give the, so either I'm going to find out that, yes, this guy did really talk about building what I really want, or maybe he misunderstood something. And maybe that will explain the difference. And I'm going to ask him, how do you explain $3,000 difference in price? I mean, that shouldn't be attributed to just wood, right? I mean, I don't know.
You get a sense of them.
I'll get a sense of whether, I have any trust. That's the best I can do to kind of get an idea of whether I'm going to be able to trust these people. Anyway. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to meet with the 2 companies now. So the one I've already met with and we got a quote. The quote is nice, but it just takes too long. Now they're not out of the running yet, but I'm not crazy about that. And the problem is if I could believe, or if they had told me that the price was good, like I said, their price was way cheaper. If I knew that their price was good, I might just say, hey, let's go with them and let's figure out a way to wait 12 weeks. The problem is, I can't trust the price. They flat out told me we'll reprice this when we build them. So I might go with Southwest Truss thinking, oh, these guys really know what they're doing and they're making me happy and all this stuff and their price is great. And then 10 weeks from now, when they're about to build the trusses, they might say, now the price is $8,000. And then I would say, well, why didn't I get it for 8 weeks earlier? Right. So this is the problem. This is the dilemma we're in. So all I can do right now is go meet these people and get a sense of whether they know what I'm talking about, whether they see, whether we're on the same page at all, try and have them explain their quote, where it came from, why they're so different. And there's a third one in the mix, which we haven't gotten any answer back yet. And that's another thing that I'm not real happy about. I sent these quote requests on Tuesday. Here we are Wednesday, over a week later. It's been over a week.
I think they're out.
They have given me no, well, the problem is they said they could do it in 4 weeks. But anyway, they have given me nothing. I've called them multiple times. I spoke to them yesterday, and all the lady said was,
my cousin Darla.
Hey, Darla.
Hi, Darla. Have you thought of a stick build
it? I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Do you mean just building a framed house? Like that's not what we're doing. But
no. I think she means like what you did with the carport.
Well,
we had talked.
We thought about it, but there's a whole lot of other things that come into play then. So I'm not really wanting to do that. But so where was I? So all the lady said to me from the third company, which is also in Tucson, which I also plan to go to on Friday. All she said to me was, it's in my list. I haven't gotten to it. She said I should get to it by the end of the week. And that was all she said. She hadn't looked at it. It's been over a week. She hasn't looked at it. Right off the bat, that doesn't make me very happy. So here's the dilemma. The company I'm happiest with is the company that gave me a price that will change and gave me a timeline that is horrible for me. So that's where I'm at. So I don't know what to do with that. So that's where we're at. I
don't like this.
Well, I don't like it either, but that's where we're at. So that's
another way to build a roof.
Well, there's lots of ways to build a roof, but you're not taking into account all of the other things, right? I mean, I know a couple of weeks ago we talked about just building post and beam and all that, and that's all nice, but that we might as well just. I mean, that changes everything that we know about straw bale, everything.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, we can't just throw everything away. It's not that simple, right? So we have to work with what we've got here, with what we know and what we've got. So anyway, that's where we're at.
You want to talk about?
I'm not happy about any of this, but it's where we are.
Let's tell what we did yesterday.
And all of this and me not doing anything makes Pam unhappy. So
throw it away.
So she ends up moping around all day long and telling me I'm never going to build this house. So that's where we're at. That's my life. So
I'm just trying to motivate
I'm trying
you.
to solve problems. She's trying to motivate me to solve a problem that isn't my fault and I can't do a whole lot about.
No, it's not. It wasn't just that. I'm just aggravated with the weather, and it's just like the wind never stops blowing. It's 100 degrees.
It's a little warm.
I don't know.
It's a little cloudy and it's a little windy, and Pam's world is shattered.
I can't be
shattered.
I can't be happy 24 hours a day.
Shut up, Sherry.
After all this.
So anyway, that's our life, and this all kind of culminated today. And Pam is. Can
you be quiet for
upset.
a second? I wanted to say what
Jim is right.
What the wind hasn't been too bad. Yeah, it's all right. It was still blowing a little. I don't know. I just want to complain about it.
Yes, that's
right.
The
truth.
What would you?
I wanted to say what we did yesterday because your butt was hurting. You were all butt hurt today.
What did we do yesterday?
We rode bikes. Remember?
Yes.
We went mountain biking.
We rode our bikes yesterday.
So
give Warren my apologies.
Hey, thank you, Jill. I'll take that.
She's not always like that, but she has stretches where she gets very negative. She's not generally a negative person, but she gets very negative, and it's all on me to make her happy, and that's hard to do sometimes.
Well, I make you happy. Wait, option 4, watch YouTube videos and build your...
Yeah, well,
that's an idea.
So, anyway, that's where we're at.
Okay, wait a minute. So, we went over to Taylor and Melissa's because they have like this little dirt track, and I thought it was going to be really, really cool. But come to find out, it's like quicksand, so we kept getting bogged down in the sand.
So this is a little dirt, basically dirt bike track. You know, it wasn't made by anybody, but just people riding on this dirt spot have made these little tracks and almost ramps and everything. Right? It's super cool actually, but with our weather being so dry and everything, and our dirt being the way it is, much like it is here on our land, this is a couple of miles away from here.
It becomes powdery.
It was like moon dust, right? So if you've ever ridden a bicycle,
sandy,
bicycle. Not a dirt bike.
Like trying to ride a bicycle on the beach.
In dry sand. That's kind of what it was like. So Pam got on her bike and rode for about 5 seconds and had to get off and walk and go down a hill walking and up a hill walking, and then we were done.
Build your roof out of pallet wood. We should. Why can't we just throw pallets up there on top?
You're not helping, Jim.
Wait.
If it were up to Pam, she would throw trash in the air and hope that it landed in the form of a roof.
Wait, I also want to tell what Brian did this morning. Even though we've lived here for for 3 years, we've lived here. Brian walked out the door and smashed his head into the door top.
Yeah.
And for an hour.
When my head hit the door, my reaction, Jim has done that. My reaction when my head hit the door was I jerked back and my knee then hit the door jam really hard and my knee still hurts from it.
And he's been complaining about his knee all day. And
so anyway,
we've both been in here all day. I think that's why
we've been inside all day. Well, that's what happens when it's hot and a little windy and cloudy, and it's just and we didn't have a project. I did get out of the house a couple of days ago, and hopefully you all saw a video. Hopefully you guys saw a video
Brian.
That we cleaned out the shed, or I cleaned out the shed. That looks really nice.
Did I help a little? What did
I don't think
I was
you did,
working
actually.
on something. That's when I was washing tires.
You did not help.
I was washing tires.
So anyway,
it's been real fun. We were in here all day.
So that news was not.
I don't think we said 3 words to each
much.
other.
That news, that Truss news was not very encouraging, and and I have a hard enough time trying to figure stuff out to begin with. So I've had it in my mind for a while that this is what we're going to do. So yeah, we can start throwing out all kind of other solutions, but none of them. I'm not going to be comfortable with any of them really. So that's just the way it is. And we haven't exhausted this yet. It's not like this is an absolute failure yet. It's just that there's a lot of things I don't like right now. And there's really not a whole lot I can do about them today. Like I said, my next step is Friday to meet these people in person. I'll know more then. And that's what it is. And that means a couple of days of not building or whatever. And that makes Pam think that nothing's ever going to happen. So
Darla's going through the same thing.
So, yeah. Well, I mean.
And the wood.
Darla would know. So she's building a house, right? Or
yeah, I think. Her husband he did build houses.
So yeah,
they're not.
You could look at it. The way we're lucky is this is one of the few things that we're actually going to rely on somebody else for. Right. I mean, everything else is kind of in our control, so we're lucky in that sense.
Jim says throw a tarp over it.
Well, that might happen until the trusses get here if we decide to go with Southwest Truss for all we know.
Right,
so we'll see.
It might be a big pain, but what about checking out Tucson?
Don, I have. So that, like I said, I've requested 2 quotes. I called 4.
2 are from Tucson. 1 is Sierra.
I called 4 companies in Tucson a while back, basically to get their kind of lead times. And 2 of them gave me answers of 4 to 6 weeks, and I've requested quotes from both of those companies.
Look what Darla said. Read what Darla said.
Yes, and while we are on the beach, we expect y'all to be done.
That's what I said. When I come back from Florida, you're gonna have a house built for me, right?
We'll see. Maybe. Can you lay out doors and windows? Yes. But yes, you're right. Yes, but I haven't. So unfortunately, the reality is that these things are all discouraging, and they, you end up staying inside, and it's cloudy, and you get kind of depressed and down about everything, and then you don't make any progress on something else. So I have been neglecting the doors and windows. We have done, I think, a decent job of keeping up with some videos, but that takes time too, of course. So
we haven't been to Phoenix, Brian.
That's kind of
that was a misunderstanding.
No, we haven't. We did not visit Phoenix.
Today's my son's birthday, though. Happy birthday,
Project
Tim.
Paul says I'll fly out. Thanks, Paul. Is Tim here? What? Is Tim here?
No, I just, because Brian thought we went to Phoenix, but I think
where's
that
Paul
was a
at?
misunderstanding.
Paul, where are you at? Do you know where Paul's at?
He's right there.
No.
Wow.
Thanks, Paul. We appreciate it. Georgia. Wow.
Georgia.
So I know that this is not the only way to build a house. I know trusses aren't the only way to put a roof on a house, but when you have limited knowledge and experience, you pick something and you kind of go.
How hard could they be?
Well, in your world, it's super easy, but it's not as easy as you'd like to think.
You remember when somebody used to say that I live in a world of
rainbows and unicorns.
No, it's unicorns and butterflies.
And that's completely true. It was an accurate statement.
I don't anymore.
Ugh.
Reality has come crashing down.
So yeah, we're not super positive right now, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, you shouldn't let limited knowledge stop you.
I'm not, but imagine, Jim, if on top of your limited knowledge and experience, you had Debbie Downer over here.
Debbie Downer
yelling that the world was falling and the house would never be done.
There's a
rainbow roof.
Just think you're gonna have a whole week of total silence, unless you have Craig and
so anyway,
Jared or somebody coming.
That's where the build is. We haven't made a lot of progress. My next step is an in-person visit. That's the best I can do for now. I can only hope that I get some sort of good feeling or some good information out of that visit. So we'll see.
Yeah, we waited this long.
So Sherry is totally right. I can't believe I just said that. And I know that. Every day I tell myself that. But when I've got this over here telling me that it's never going to finish, and the weather, and it's always cloudy, and it's always windy, and everything is horrible, it gets to be very difficult. So we'll be all right.
What's this? Sorry.
We'll be taking names and serving up some stunners.
What's that mean? I don't get that. Stunners? Is that a typo or something?
Anyway, it's hard to stay positive when you were living in that little place for so long.
Thank you, Sherry.
But you make the best of it.
You know what, though? I know that.
Oh, it's a wrestling thing. Stunners. Oh, I got you, Jim. I'm sorry, I missed it.
I never got into the wrestling.
Good one, Jim.
I don't mind waiting 12 weeks if we knew the price was going to stay the same.
Well, believe me, you think I don't? I mean, it bothers me the same way. Like I said, if all of the things being equal, and I still have a third quote that I know nothing about. I don't have a number. I don't have anything, right? I don't have anything. But it would be one thing if I had three quotes in front of me, and one of them was the cheapest, and I felt the most confident in the company, but it was longer. And I would say, you know what? Let's figure it out. Let's do the 12 weeks. Let's figure it out. But the problem is that number is nothing. It means nothing. So that's the problem. And it bothers me just as much as it bothers you, but there's nothing I can do about it. So
where's it dry?
Oh, please go live with Sherry until the house is ready.
Her house isn't ready.
I wish it were that easy.
Our house is ready.
Oh, no.
Where's the drawing?
Why doesn't she come to your house now?
It's only a square.
Where's the drawing of what you want the house to look like? So
it's a square.
It's pretty simple. That actually, nice segue, Brian. That should be one of our next videos.
Warren. Thanks, Warren.
Hey, Warren.
Desert Living Homestead.
So,
Pedro.
Hi, Brian. Pedro. That should be one of our next videos. Now, I'm not sure if Brian was on that particular live, but if you remember a while back, we did a live, and we ended up doing it twice, but it was the first time we used, what was the name of whatever that tool was, right? The StreamYard, I believe it was. So I did a screen share of a SketchUp drawing of the house, and I kind of manipulated it, and we talked about it a little bit. I didn't ever make a video of that, walking through that SketchUp. So our next couple of videos are probably going to be SketchUp related. One, to kind of walk through kind of the interior layout of the house, at least what we believe to be our best estimate of what the interior layout of the house will be. And another SketchUp drawing of kind of the exterior and some of this truss detail and stuff. Basically, I'll walk through what I sent to the truss folks to kind of lay out kind of the design of the house. So I'm planning on those being two of our, I don't know if they'll be the next two videos, but two of our next videos where I'll kind of walk through our SketchUp drawings of what we believe the inside of the house and the outside and the framing of the house will look like. So that's coming up if you didn't see it already. Some of you saw the interior.
And Henry and Irene said they lived in RV for 5 years. Oh my god!
With no slide outs. Wow. Ooh. Again,
You'll probably get through it.
I tell myself every day we'll get through it, but Pam gets on some negative kicks sometimes, and it makes it tough.
You know what? I'm sorry, but I think I'm pretty positive most of the time.
I said you are pretty positive.
I just go through days where sometimes I get down.
I did a thumb. It's hard not to get, discouraged, but today's one of our sort of discouraged days. It was yesterday we got that quote, and that was a little discouraging. I think I was telling y'all, on last week's talk, we talked about how we got the first quote, and when we opened the PDF file, right, that had the information in it, which, by the way, had a picture of trusses in it, there was this anticipation of the number, and I was worried about how high it would be, and I was really relieved when I saw the number. This quote was pretty much the exact opposite. It had no information, and the number was high, and it was just immediately discouraging. So that was tough, and that was just yesterday. So,
you know what?
And the third one hasn't come yet. So
I mean, wouldn't you say that I do work on projects quite a bit? I do paintings
yes.
And other things. So every now and then, I just need a day to allow myself to be mopey if I want to, and just lay around and do nothing. And I have a giant list of things that I have to do, and I get upset because I can't get them done.
And Brian said, not the floor plan. I want to see Pam's vision with colored trees and maybe a windmill in the background. You should do an artist's rendering of the homestead.
I would like to do that, but I have a list of things I'm trying to get finished, and I want to get those finished first before I do that.
What are these things?
I have a couple of paintings I'm working on, and I got the tire project I'm working on.
What else? By the way, has anybody ever cut a tire in half? We were Googling that a little bit today. I think we talked last week about the snake thing, right? About didn't we? About making snakes out of tires.
I'm gonna I'm trying, but now I can't. I don't think I can do it. So that was making me upset because I can't cut a tire. I don't know how to cut it.
Well, we're gonna have to try, but we might fail once or twice at cutting a tire in half. We have extra tires, which is nice. I can rip one in half, Sherry says.
Cut a tire.
I cut one in half, but then pulled over. When you Google cutting tires on the internet, a lot of times what people are doing is cutting out the kind of the sidewall, which is not as big a deal. That's not what we want to do. We actually want to cut a tire, kind of, if it's laying flat, cut it in half, right? So, yeah.
Brian,
just don't Pedro has used a grinder. So
Truss guys with anything that can damage them. What'd you say? A grinder?
So Pedro says I've used a grinder. I was actually leaning that direction.
What is a grinder?
We have a grinder. It's just a little straight thing with a wheel on the end of it.
Okay.
And I was thinking about that because some of the things we've seen online is a grinder, a sawzall, or a reciprocating saw that just kind of. And some people have used circular saws, which might work, but it's a little dangerous and it's pretty bad for the saw. So I'm leaning towards a grinder. I just didn't try it yet today, but I use a sawzall for everything, Jim says. I think I can try both of those, and I think we'll have some luck. But I don't know. You're going to have to tell me. Yeah, the steel belting is the issue, obviously. You're going to have to tell me kind of how you want to cut, because I don't know if it's as simple.
You're welcome, Jill. Warren gave her the sign.
I second the sawzall, says
Here's
Paul.
Your sign.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try both the sawzall and the grinder. I'm going to try both of those, but you're going to have to tell me kind of how you want it cut. So,
yeah.
I want to see the vid of Pam cutting a tire with a propane torch. Yeah, at one point Pam told me that she wanted to go out and cut a tire with the circular saw. Now, I don't know if everybody has seen this video, but we did a video where we put together a garden planter.
Shoshugibon.
And I wasn't thinking of that one. I was thinking of the one where we put together our raised bed garden, and all we did was screw a couple of pieces of wood together. And Pam with a drilled driver, putting screws into a board, and when a screw kind of ends up hitting flat, and the driver kind of
goes,
yeah, she screamed like she was being murdered. So, and that was with a drill. So I don't think a circular saw in her hands cutting through metal is a great idea. So I told her she probably shouldn't do that.
The Shoshugibon one with the torch.
And she did something similar with the torch.
That was scary.
She doesn't like loud noises. So from experience, I try Sawzall, but I will save you the pain. You will go back to the grinder.
When you have a bus,
I read a lot of that online, by the way.
I just saw Karate Chop tire.
What's that?
High Desert Off Grid. Is that Rick? High Desert Off Grid? No, that's not Rick. Oh no, I need my notes with me.
Yeah.
With a list of high desert.
You're gonna have to remind us. There's so many high desert and What were you gonna say?
When I had my eardrum. My eardrums are very sensitive because my eardrum was bursted before.
Oh.
But
okay. Anyway.
Anyway.
So that's another thing we have to do. Just using.
Are you reading this stuff?
Yeah. Metal cutting blade on the Sawzall. Mark and Michelle. High desert off-grid
Mark
AZ.
and Michelle. So there's a Terry and Michelle and a Mark and Michelle. It's very difficult to keep them all straight. So sorry about that.
Hopefully nobody takes it personal, but I think we all understand there's a lot of YouTube channels out there with high desert and AZ and off-grid, so it can be tough to keep them straight. So we just have to practice.
Cut tire off the rim with a Sawzall and couldn't do it.
Oh, interesting.
Also, Craig and Nikki said that they tried and they failed at cutting the tire.
All right, we asked our friends Craig and Nikki first because they've done a lot of tire work for their Earthship garage so far. But and they said they were unsuccessful, so that was surprising because I know they have some partial tires in their little setup. I don't even know how they did it, to tell you the truth. So what are you doing on your birthday, Brian?
Yeah.
I haven't golfed in so long.
This is Brian. Well, Brian's birthday is Friday.
My birthday is Friday. That's right. Timmy's birthday's today. Again, if he's on here, I don't know if he's on here. Happy birthday, Tim. Again.
And mine is at the end of this.
My dad's is tomorrow, and mine is Friday. So, happy birthday, Dad! Tomorrow. He's on here, I think. And mine is Friday. We're gonna see the kids because Timmy's birthday is today. And on Friday, I will be talking to Truss people for my birthday.
Hopefully 48 years old?
No,
you're 48.
47. She's wrong.
Wait a minute.
I will be 47.
You're 46? Oh my
yes.
God. Wow.
She doesn't even know.
How old am I?
Turning the big 40. 47. So hopefully, since it's my birthday, hopefully I'll get some great news on Friday about the other Truss quote. So we'll see.
Premature happy birthday.
Mom was there.
40.
I will be as of this month.
He said thank you.
I will be the last price in our immediate family under 50. Dave's the last one. His birthday's this month, and he will be 50. So I'll be the last one.
Can you imagine having a kid that's 50?
Don't you have a kid that's 50?
I'm 38.
So
kids.
So yeah, hope everybody wish me luck on Friday. That would be the best birthday gift I could get, is good news about these trusses. I could use some.
And pizza.
So, and pizza.
He loves pizza. We don't get it a whole lot.
So anyway, that's what we're up to. What else is going on? Anybody got any questions? I think I'm gonna make some videos.
Go plant tomatoes.
About SketchUp.
Henry and Irene have great gardens.
I'm not sure if Pam's gonna do some videos about some of her art.
I have not put a video out in a while.
And Pam hasn't really done any much video for us yet recently. I thought those couple of videos you put together were really good, but we haven't gotten a smooth.
Well, we don't have any. There's no footage to be filmed. I mean, you're not doing anything.
Brian says the mulch layout is looking great. Thank you. I really like the mulch layout. I don't know if Brian was on here in the beginning, but we tried to get more today, and we called and they were out. So we
have not caught any water, but it did look like it was going to rain today, but then it did nothing.
It's been a weird day.
We see it raining all around us.
A couple questions here. Okay, so Dawn says,
thanks.
Do you and Pam take the big pieces of wood out of the mulch? Sometimes I'll take them out when I first put down the mulch, when I shovel it out. I shovel it out and it looks kind of bumpy, right? When I shovel it out.
We don't have that many big pieces.
Well, we do sometimes. You're not there when I shovel it out most of the time. So I take it with a rake and I kind of
tamp it down.
Well, I tamp it with a tamper, but first I take a rake and I kind of bounce it around and it kind of settles into place a little bit. And while I'm doing that with the rake, if big chunks of wood pop up, I'll toss those. Or if I see anything extra sharp, because we do drive over most of this mulch. So I will pick out sharp pieces. I'll pick out big pieces sometimes, but they have to be pretty bad looking, right? Because I mean,
pick out the underwear.
And then we will also maybe later pick out some of the trash and stuff, but there's a good bit. So I'll shovel it out. I'll just kind of throw it into place and try and get a basic layer. Then I'll it's almost like floating concrete. You know, I kind of tap on it and let it just settle into place. So that actually settles it pretty nicely. And then I actually use a tamper and I do tamp it down. So that's kind of my process with the mulch. It sets it into place, hopefully, so that it doesn't just blow away, or hopefully when the water gets to it, it won't just run away. And then, of course, we drive over it a little bit. We're not driving over as much now because we're not using the carport. So I've been doing a lot of mulch on that kind of drive area, but we're not really using it right now because the carport is our bale storage right now. So I haven't been driving over it, but we will.
The other day I tripped on a big stick out there.
So that was one question.
I did.
Yeah, there's some big ones, and if we notice a big one just on any given day, if I see a big chunk or whatever, I'll just toss it aside.
Thank you.
Paul asked if we catch any water yet. No, not as rain.
I didn't say that.
Oh, you did?
I said no. We didn't catch any. I said it looked like it was going to rain, but then it did.
Oh, okay. So number one, we haven't really
Mulch.
had much rain. Number two, we don't have any gutters in place, at least not on the bigger roof yet. But, and I think I've talked about this before, I have been putting our well water. I have been putting I have been putting our well water into one of the tanks.
I noticed something.
Oh,
this never happens. We have 17 likes. Oh wow.
Oh, did it just change?
Yeah.
So I have been putting our well water into one of the tanks. I have one of the tanks. I have 2,500 gallons of water in one of the tanks, so it's pretty much full. The reason it's just one tank is because the other tank is the tank that I'll have to, connect our pumping system up to. So to do that, obviously I need it to be empty so that I can kind of pull the plug and attach PVC or whatever, So one of the tanks is empty and one of them is full. When I do set up kind of the pumping equipment, I'll kind of probably open the valve between the two and they'll level so that they'll both be half full. But the idea is that if we get a gutter, as long as we get a gutter on the carport before the monsoon rains come, I think the monsoon rains are, they could potentially fill up the rest of one of the tanks. Or, if we don't get quite that much, that's fine. At least we've got a good start. So we have some water. It has come from the well so far. So,
Leo.
Hey, Leo, welcome. Mulch.
Mulch.
Yeah, the mulch is great.
We know what you mean.
I don't know what everybody's situation is out there, and I don't know if you have access to stuff, but it's been a really good one for us. Now, everybody's property is different, but our property is kind of sloped. So, the water will run and it'll just get kind of muddy. It'll actually dig some grooves in certain places. And so the mulch is just good for kind of holding that water there. Even if it were flat, the water doesn't evaporate as quickly. So the soil is a little healthier, I guess. And
where'd you get your new pants? Walmart.
You saw the pants in the video? So those are my Wranglers from Walmart. I haven't worn Wranglers since I was like 8.
I want you to get some cowboy boots now. We should go to...
Paul said he enjoyed the water talk video. Thank you, Paul. That's another thing I would recommend, Leo. By the way.
Thanks, Leo.
Anybody around us, if you don't know about Rick already from Oasis Water Harvesting, I forget exactly how his name is, but Rick is great to work with. So I strongly recommend Rick at Oasis Water to anybody who's looking for water catchment or even just wants to learn. He knows what he's talking about. I think his products are good. I think his prices are good. So I highly recommend them. And hopefully you saw that in the video.
How did you rip out the old ones? I think he'd been squatting down or...
I don't know how I messed up the old pants, but they are torn to shreds.
In the crotch.
And it's all in the crotch and the butt for some reason. I don't know why. So... Pedro says, I'm back in California. I'm picking up the second load of my truck and trailer. Leo says I would be reaching out to him. You absolutely should. He's great.
I just got this out of the freezer and it's completely hot.
It's warm.
I got to change it out. Darla texted me, but I won't show you her text in a... She wasn't going to show you a text, but I'll show you in a bit. Ooh, Lordy. Lord have mercy. It's hot in here. This thing is not energy efficient, and we're in for 3 months of hell. That's why I'm angry.
Gotta love these AZ summers.
I'm like
that's
sweating.
another thing. you know, I don't want to harp on it. And again, Pam and I are both generally pretty positive, but there are a lot of things that can get you a little discouraged out here, and the weather can be one of them for sure in the summertime. You know, we've got the mini split. It's going right now, and the fans are going. What can be difficult is there are patches. We're kind of tucked into a corner here in the dinette, and the air doesn't circulate around real great all the time. So if you're not in front of a fan, if you're not getting hit by a fan actively, it can feel pretty warm, even if the temperature in here is not all that bad.
I wish you could spend a day in a
50-year-old. You kind of need a fan on you all the time.
55-year-old lady's body.
If you wanted to stop that fan pointing straight at us, that'd probably be better. Our fan is oscillating, so we're getting little cool bursts.
Okay, yeah, I will.
Oh, hey, there's Warren making a link to Oasis rainwater. So yeah.
Can you feel that?
I can't talk.
Can you feel it?
Yeah, that's good. I can't say enough good things about Rick. I was very happy with him. So we're probably going to get another tank at some point. We're at 2 tanks right now. I think we're a little low for the number we want to have. So we'll probably get a third. This is Leo from our family channel. Oh, Leo changed from Leo Medic to Journey with the Dragon Clan. Pedro says, my RV and the trailer is full. My truck and trailer are full. I have my wife's car, so we were seeing if someone transports it to AZ for us. Oh, going back and forth. I remember when we were taking short trips for a while from Chandler down here. That was 2.5 hours. We were doing that every weekend or so.
Well, Warren's laughing at me, but I don't know what he's talking about. I better leave that one alone. Because Brian ripped out his crotch, probably.
Mom says I enjoyed Rick's videos.
Oh, thanks for that, Leo.
Yeah, so Rick is great. Mulch is great. Can't say enough good things about Mulch for us, at least. Hoping I can change my hog wallow. Yeah.
Oh, ours was a hog wallow.
Yep.
Journey.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Jerry. You said spend a day in a 55-year-old woman body. That's what he was laughing at.
Oh, yeah, I forgot already. Yeah, Brian wouldn't last a day.
Paul says
you would not last a day.
Paul says, are the tanks your only water source? No, they are not. So, for example, right now the tanks aren't even a water source at the moment, right? Because we don't have any pumping equipment set up. So the tanks are just there in preparation. Our main water source, which will become our backup water source, is a well share that we have. So we do have a well share. We had it from the time we moved here, which has been really nice. But if you've seen any of our videos or heard any of our talks, our well share is a bit of a headache for us because it happens to be located across the wash from us. So the pretty good size wash that we have to drive through to get here, driving through it's one thing, but the water crosses it, in a pipe. So in a ranch pipe, basically plastic pipe that used to be underground, but as storms come through the wash and erode the ground, that pipe is no longer underground, at least not all the way. And so every monsoon season, it gets kind of unearthed and it'll get ripped in half and we'll literally just be gushing water. And until you repair it, we have no water. So
we don't have any gutters yet, Leo. He's working on.
So yeah,
eventually
we're on a well share at the moment. We hope that will be our backup. We've already spoken to our
water lady,
the people we share with,
and
they're perfectly open to letting us use it as a backup source in the future. So if we have a low rain year or we have any sort of issues, they'll allow us either just to take some or to pay a one-time fee as opposed to a monthly fee.
A month
to just take some. So we'll do something with maybe IBC totes or something to get some and bring it over here. Because the problem is we don't have the transportation of the water is the issue because we're across the wash. Our 2 neighbors that are also on the well share, they are on the same side of the wash as the water. So I don't think they have the issues that we have.
Right.
So we're unique in that way. It's a problem for us.
I can't remember. Oh my gosh. I am 50. Am I 55?
You are 55.
Wow. I seriously was like confused for a minute.
So yeah, we are missing gutters right now. I have to put a gutter on the carport roof, which is right next to the tanks. And when we put the roof on the house, which will be on the other side of the tanks, I'll have to put a gutter on that. So there are no gutters feeding the tanks right now. So I filled one of them up with a hose from our well water connection.
I think I'm going to be 56.
She will be 56
at the end of
later
the month,
this month.
in like 3 weeks. So.
Hey Brian, I was here about wells going dry recently.
Oh.
I haven't heard anything. I haven't been looking, but I mean that's another reason. Don't get me wrong.
That's why we didn't want to be on a well.
Yeah. So there's a lot of there are various issues with wells and well shares. We just heard a horror story yesterday, just from somebody that we were talking to at a friend's house.
Yeah.
Of they own a well, but they share it with others, but it's their well, and they've had to hire a lawyer over a water dispute.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, well shares specifically can be trouble, because if there's a dispute there, that can get ugly. We've been very lucky. Our neighbors are very nice. Like I said, they're
very nice.
They've said that they will have no problem with us in the future, even using it a little bit. So, and I believe them. We've been here 3 years, and we've had no issues at all that way. But that can be a problem. Wells can dry up. Things can break on wells, obviously. So, they can be expensive. They can dry up. I haven't looked or heard of any doing that, but it's always a possibility. And then there's always the transportation that we have an issue with of the water. So there are issues. So we knew day one, even though there was a well share here, from day one, we've wanted to do water catchment just to give us a little more control and a little more peace of mind over our water. So having that as a backup, I think, will be a nice thing, but I don't want it. I've never wanted it to be our main source. It's a little too scary. And we've seen many problems with it. Our problems have been relating to the movement of the water to us. So
the pipe was never buried correctly.
No, I don't think so. Or at least, maybe it was at one point, but erosion takes its toll.
Right. Yeah.
So comment says, question: if you cut the water line in the wash, pull the pipe out before the rains,
Where's that? I don't see that.
Would this limit the damage to the pipe? Absolutely. And like I said, when I mean, that would be one of the things we could do in the future. We'll have to decide how we want to access that water in the future as a potential backup. We could just go to the source, basically go right over to the well house and just put a spigot right outside, or even use our neighbors' kind of connections to get that water in the future in a tote of some sort and bring it over here. Or we could try to kind of save that pipe through the rainy season and then maybe reconnect it and have it. But it really should just be a backup for us. So I hope not to have to do that. But that's a valid point.
Another thing that it's kind of really what's happening with our water affects their water.
That's right.
So we want to get off of that, because every time something goes wrong with ours, it affects their water. Gets all dirty. And
I'm not a well expert, but I mean, something to do with our pump in the well. So we often turn our water off. When we leave here, we turn it off just so, if something breaks while we're gone, there won't just be water gushing. That doesn't cause too much of a problem. But if we ever do have this situation where when the pipe breaks and it just things gush out, and basically if our line goes empty, the line from the well to here, when we fix that and we have to kind of refill that line, there's something going on, and I assume it has to do with how the pump has to work to somehow refill that pipe.
It's sucking up mud.
It basically turns the water gets very muddy,
sandy,
for some amount of time. And this last time that it happened, the water was dirty for it seemed like weeks, and our neighbors noticed it. Our neighbor even sent an email and said, "Hey, is anything going on?" And I said, "Yeah, I noticed." And it did get better. It just took a longer time. So that's another thing that's bad. Every time we have one of these issues, our neighbors get kind of this weird. Yeah, I don't know what it is, Mom. I don't know. But there's something going on for sure. Every time we have one of these issues, we have a major issue. Even once it's fixed, there's this kind of residual kind of problem. We get dirty water, and so do our neighbors. Leo says, we were trying to figure out how we can with what we already have, since we don't have those big tanks yet. You can do little water collection projects.
We have little barrels.
Yeah, we have little barrels, and we have that's why I say we don't have. It's not that we don't have any gutters. We have a couple of gutters around the place, but they're just for smaller things. Let me know if you need help putting up gutters. I love that stuff. Ooh. I mean, I've done little gutters on like a little shed, like a 6 or 8 foot stretch of just plastic gutter. I haven't done a real gutter project yet. So
surely we'll have monsoons, right? Surely.
almost,
Sure.
and don't call me sure, almost certainly we will have a bigger monsoon this year than last year. Last year was a really dry year, and we can get dry years anytime, but I seriously
Sean, that's funny, Sean.
The well sounds like a horrible idea. Have you seen The Ring? Pam loves The Ring.
I used to.
So yeah, I assume the monsoons will be stronger this year. I wouldn't mind, based on our Truss situation right now, I wouldn't mind if they were a little late, but we can't control that, so it is what it is. Oh, what, by the way, we're about running out of time, so if anybody wants to get anything in there. Once you have more than one human being involved in a well share, it can be problematic. It can be. I paid a lawyer a good chunk of cash to have my well share disbanded once I purchased the property.
What if
Timmy fell in the well?
Timmy visits. Yeah, we can't have Timmy falling in a well, so we don't want to be on the well.
Hopefully I didn't bum everybody out, but we got a little discouraged yesterday and today, so
we'll send Lassie.
We'll be back to our normal selves here soon.
Actually, this has cheered me up because I have been mopey all day.
But
I'm sorry, honey. I'm sorry.
I'm hoping for some good news Friday. So hopefully there's not much I can do about it until then.
Will you put on your Wranglers tomorrow?
She likes the Wranglers.
I'm gonna go get him some boots.
Okay, last chance. Anybody got anything? We're at almost 7 o'clock. As all, Sherry says you. Non-soon. You guys always make me smile. Non-soon. Well, I don't feel like we made anybody smile today, but I hope so.
Thank you. Thanks for making me smile.
Keep if you're wondering kind of what the house is going to look like, if you haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, if you weren't on the one live that we did, keep your eyes open. I think those are going to be some videos coming up. Will be some walkthroughs of what we think the house is going to look like inside, and kind of the bones of it, the bales and the sill and the top and the trusses and the whole deal and everything. So I had to work on that to get it to the Truss people. So I'll try and walk through that.
Send our lad Diesel. He'll throw your sticks in the hole.
On that hill, taking videos. Ever thought of putting a water catchment? Oh my gosh, it's funny you say that.
We thought
David Edward Tolson, who I haven't seen on here yet. He's usually on here. He made a comment recently, and Craig, I'll mention Craig, who isn't on here either, both mentioned that same thing. They basically said, when Craig and I talk about solar, Craig says you need to find a way to use your solar during the day when you have excess. And one of his thoughts was push water up a hill during the day when you have solar power so that you can then let it fall down the hill and you have pressure at night without power. And it's a great idea. So that's basically what Pedro just said. That's not a bad idea. We'd obviously have to come up with a system and tanks and whatnot that could make all that happen, but it's not a bad idea. So
tanks for nothing.
So
all right,
keep going multiple fronts. Good luck. Anyway, thanks everybody again for stopping in. Sorry we weren't as chipper as usual, but hopefully we'll be back next week. Hopefully good news Friday. So cross your fingers. I think that's about it.
I already crossed.
Happy birthday, Timmy, one last time if he's out there. Happy birthday, Dad.
Yeah, happy birthday, y'all. And we'll see y'all
I think we're going to call it
later.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll talk to you next time. See you later.